If you go cruising overseas, the chances are at some point you're going to have to go home and leave your boat unattended. So we're going to show you how to prepare it and leave it so that it's safe and secure for when you return.
We've had a great trip with our boat, and now we've got to do the last little bit, which is make it safe while we're away. So we've got 3 areas we really need to think about. Damage from any weather within the harbour, so we need to get the boat moved away from the quay so it can't happen. Damage from the sun out in the Med's really powerful. We've got to protect the interior and the exterior as best we can. And lastly, damage from the wind. And that's a difficult decision. Do we put the covers on and pray the wind doesn't rip them to shreds? Or do we leave the boat open with the solid parts closed, and then we've got better protection from that damaging wind? One of the key things I've got to do is get the boat further away from the quay. Any storm surge or big winds and we could smack into that, and that's always going to win. So I'm going to loosen my stern lines so that we move at least 1 metre further forward. So that's my first task. My lines have got these big loops in, so rather than just leave them on the cleats, I'm going to drop them over my capstan winches. That means I've got plenty of slack. I'm going to do that on both sides. There's my loop. Just going to drop that over the capstan winch. Next, I'm going to ease my cross lines, otherwise I'll be trying to pull the boat forward against my own lines. I can always tighten them after. And the same on the other side. Up on the bow here now, naturally because we've released the stern, the lines aren't terribly tight. So we're going to tighten the leeward line first, winds from over there, and then we're going to put the windward line on the winch to really get a bit of bite on it and get some tension. Okay, I'm just going to bring this line in as tight as I can manage, and the technique I use is hold low, just lean back and then feed. And I'll do several armfuls of it rather than one big pull. That's about as tight as I can do without hurting myself. So we'll just make that off. And as you can see, lovely clean job. Having got this starboard bow line as tight as I could manually, I'm not really happy. There's a bit of tension, but I can do much better. The boat's got a stunning anchor winch, and I'm going to use that to help pull this line really tight. So first thing I'm going to do is transfer this line onto the winch. Remember, with all winches, you go clockwise. Can have 2 good turns. Now I'm ready. Now I've got it on the winch, I'm going to release the clutch. Otherwise I try and move the anchor at the same time. That's nice and slack. Now I can just winch in on this rope. So, just feeding it through nicely. Now we're getting some tension. We'll have a real pull now. That's bar taut. Now, you could either transfer that back onto the cleat, or you can just make it off here. Entirely up to you. Depends on the lead of your boat. All this tension's great, but I've created a new problem. I've got all the weight on the winch, and I actually want it on the cleat. But the moment I let go, it'll all shoot back out again. So there's a little trick we have for that. We just need a sort of 3 metres of 10mm line. So we're just going to tie a rolling hitch on the nice tight line. So we go round a good couple of times, tuck the end under, pull it tight, and that will bite on the line. Now what we need to do is put this one on our other cleat. So I'm going to make this off tight on our spare cleat. Use all the line up. That's biting. The next step's to release the winch so we can put the line on the cleat. Now I've got my little contraption set up, I can release the tension on this line, and then I can put this one on the cleat. So first and second one, gently ease, and you'll see now this one's bar tight. That means I can put this round the cleat, good couple of figures of 8. Job's a good one. tension's still there, but now I can release this, that will disappear. My boat's really nice and safe. Now we're going to release the blue line because we've got the mooring line nicely on the cleat. That all comes off. Undo my rolling hitch. Tuck that back in the locker for next time. Last little job is to tighten up the anchor winch again so we can use it as an anchor winch as opposed to a mooring line winch, and we'll take the slack out of the other line. Tighten up, turn it till it's in a nice position, good little yank, and then bring the anchor fully home. That's all set for when we need to anchor next time. Close the cover. Last job will be bring up any slack on this line. Don't need it as tight as the port one, but just so we've got both doing their job. I'm pretty pleased with what I've got now. I'm pretty much 2 meters off the quay. My stern lines are pretty evenly tensioned, and my cross springs, as my boat twists around with the wind on the bow, I'm not slewing into either of my neighbours. I'm self-sufficient, so if either of them left, my boat would stay where I want and I wouldn't have any dangers and worries. That's the first bit done. We've managed to get the boat really safely moored. We're a nice distance out from the quay. Don't think anything's going to damage it. I can sleep easy at night. Now we're going to get those cushions in, get those blinds down, give it all a really good wash off. About finished now. I'm just securing the shore power, nearly finished the wash off, and then we'll be ready to depart. The passerelle will go in, that gives us great security, and this gap means I'm really comfy with the boat. Safe and sound all packed away now. Next thing's cab to the airport.